Good morning. My name is Dr. Dana Harvey from Milton Chiropractic and Massage, just in the greater Atlanta area, just north of the city. I wanted to come to you today with some information on bedwetting, especially children over the age of 5. We often say as parents, they are super deep sleepers, and there are definitely a few of those out there, don't get me wrong, but quite often after the age of 5, so now we're looking at 6, 7, 8, and we're still having issues where our child is wearing a pull-up. Well, why is that? So I do see clinically quite a few children in my practice that struggle with this component, and obviously the older the child gets, the more socially, emotionally they are affected by it. They don't want to go to a sleepover. They don't want to have anybody sleeping over at their house. So they're affected by it. And if they have a sibling that is maybe younger, that has already had that resolution and they are still in a pull-up, that really does affect them. So I wanted to share some of this information today that may help you and your child get to the bottom of what's causing this. So we have something as babies called primitive reflexes. We have several of them, and it's really meant to help with survival, whether it be in utero or after we're born, all the way from feeding to helping through the birth canal, what have you. So what happens often when we see children that are still bedwetting well past 5 years of age, some of these primitive reflexes have never fully resolved. So without resolution, it continues. So one of the biggest contributors I see in my practice is something called the spinal gland reflex. And what that is that it helps with the birthing process, but it's when you basically run a stimulus up the spine, it causes the shoulder and the hips to come back together, and it's sort of, an older child, you'd see them kind of wiggle, okay? Now, why that is contributing to that bladder emptying in the night and bedwetting is that if those muscles are stimulated bilaterally where they have that reflex that has not been fully resolved, that stimulation on either side of the spine reflexogenically, so it's not something they decide, but reflexogenically, something the brain decides, it empties the bladder. So we often see children that are struggling with that maybe have an ADHD diagnosis or something of that nature, because as you can well imagine, if you have a shirt or a seat at school that's stimulating those reflexes, it's going to be hard to sit still. That sensory feedback is something that's going to continually bother you. So there are a number of exercises that you can go through to help resolve some of those primitive reflexes. There are even adults that struggle still with the primitive reflexes that can be resolved. They can be resolved at any time. But you just have to get to the bottom of what reflexes haven't been resolved and what is still contributing to that bedwetting. People often ask, well, why wouldn't that resolve? Well, there are a number of reasons. Maybe your child didn't crawl for long enough. Maybe they had stimulus too soon as a young child, like close up watching TV. Maybe that was just overload for their sensory system. There could be a whole number of reasons, and we often don't get to the bottom of what exactly that reason is. Although I do see a correlation between early walkers and bedwetting, because the child has not crawled for an extended period of time, so there hasn't been enough time to resolve some of these primitive reflexes from a cross-crawl perspective. So please, if we can be of any assistance, please reach out to us. We have a website, www.mymiltonchiro.com. If you have questions, you can reach out to me directly at drdanaharvey@gmail.com, or give us a call at the office at 770-751-9224. Hope you found value today, and please reach out to us if you have any further questions. Have a great day.